He's defied the odds in so many ways and at so many times. You can start to understand why he thinks, no, even though we would see the writing on the wall, he would see something completely different, considering, like you said, his political career is one of ups and downs.
The more I look at him, the more I study them, the more I see parallels between him and Donald Trump.
Yeah, this is a common parallel that's being made right now, considering the January 6th riots and how Trump kind of lingered on with power. I do think that Boris will eventually go, and I do think it'll be through the 22 committee. But when it comes to the Trump comparisons, there's definitely something there in terms of that mentality that they perceive of themselves as an outsider despite being very much of the establishment. I think that's really where that comes from, the idea that the media's against him, that his party's against him. And I think you can get a bit of a bunker mentality, and you can kind of grip your teeth in a little bit.
In the meantime, lots of people, the Conservative Party, the public as well, will be looking as to who could be the next Prime Minister. Runners and riders.
I think there's about 6 or 7 so far. I know we had the Suella Braverman announced last night on the TV that she was going to run. Sajid Javid, I think, will throw his hat in. Rishi Sunak is still seen as the heir apparent by so many. Nadine Zahawi, and, he's been making some serious power moves, particularly taking the role of Chancellor and then coming out yesterday and saying Boris Johnson should resign. I have to admit, I didn't think he had that in him. But
that was a bizarre strategy, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bizarre one. But apparently, from the reports we've been reading, that he's been working with Lynton Crosby, the kind of election guru, behind the scenes for quite some time, and it's no secret around SW1 in Westminster that he's got leadership ambitions. I think he's very good, and I think he'll go very far. Whether he'll win, I don't quite know.
There was a lot of talk yesterday that he wasn't first choice to be Chancellor.
Yeah,
he made himself be first choice.
The rumour is that Liz Truss was supposed to take over as Chancellor, and like you said, he kind of bullied his way into it. And I think that was somewhat of he wants the kind of name recognition so that he would then be able to launch a kind of general election campaign if he ever became leader. So more people would really know who he is.
That's the thing, you've got to let your intentions known, because if you don't, people interpret. So, for instance, those who stay on what may be a sinking ship or whatever will be judged accordingly, and those who've jumped ship will be seen as legitimate leadership contenders. But Zahawi, he seems to be saying, I'm going to stay, but we're going to do things my way.
Yeah, I think there's 2 ways to look at the people who stay. I think there is the kind of sinking ship, and kind of like people who just the Johnson loyalists. But I also think there's kind of something to be said for people who are staying on, because somebody needs to keep the lights on. Somebody needs to keep the ship running, despite all of this going down. I think, a few people have stayed on, and despite the fact they do probably think that Boris needs to go, because there was quite a number of cabinet secretaries that went to Boris yesterday, but they have said he needs to go, but they haven't resigned. I do think there's something to be said for, sticking to it. Ben Wallace, in particular, said, I'm not interested in political parlour games. He said he's got a war to win. So, there is definitely something to it.
It's interesting, Peter, you saying someone's got to stay to keep the lights on.